Happy Wednesday. How is everyone doing? This is Jonna Redmond, and it's Wednesday. It's noon. So let's have a little lunch and talk a little real estate. So today I will be discussing the five things I would do if I was buying or selling in 2026. And I'm actually going to do it from the perspective of if it was my actual home. And also because it is February and it is Black History Month, I'm always going to celebrate my HBCU. And there's that. So let's jump right into it. Um, the first thing I would do if I was buying in this market is I would be very clear on what my payment or what I want my payment to be, right? I would focus on the payment and not the price of the house. Um, because that helps you get clarity on everything else. So it also helps you to understand, okay, this is what my estimated taxes might look like depending upon the area and the county that I'm living in. This is what my insurance could look like. And make sure that you're factoring your HOAs in as well, because a lot of times you'll have a situation where you're in a condo community or a townhouse community and you're not factoring in monthly HOAs, or you're in a single family community and you're not factoring in those annual HOA dues. And when they come up, you're like, oh, I forgot all about this. And so you're having to pay that lump sum. But if you're breaking it up monthly and maybe just kind of putting them away in an account somewhere where you can just grab them when it's time to pay it, that makes way more sense than trying to do that lump sum at the end of the year. No one likes surprises. So make sure you factor that in too. Choose peace over pushing the budget. No one wants to be house poor. That doesn't make sense to do. Making sure that you have a comfortable payment that you can make every month makes way more sense than trying to push the budget when you don't have to. Choose your peace, right? Buy a home that's going to help you sleep at night, truly. And I'm also going to have detailed conversations with my lender so that I know how many concessions I need to ask my buyer, my seller for. If I'm buying a house, I need to know, hey, if you're at this price point, ask the seller for this amount. I'm currently negotiating a contract right now. The buyer has asked for $13,000 in closing costs. I'm on the seller side. When I talk to the lender's like, oh, he probably needs somewhere around $700,000. Sorry, $7,000 or $8,000 in closing costs. Well, we're at 13 now. So if you're trying to submit a competitive offer, you kind of blew it out the water, and now the seller might be slightly turned off because you've asked for way more closing costs than you actually need, right? And you have no reason why you're asking for that amount. So that's a whole nother story. Number two, if I was buying in this market, I would prioritize structure over cosmetics. In other episodes, we talked about preach, my acronym preach, and that's plumbing, roof, electrical, AC, and heat. Making sure those things are top notch. Is the roof 20 years old in the house you're buying? Is the HVAC 30 years old, right? Those things are way more important and are very costly if you are not careful, or at least they can be. So making sure that I have a great structure is way more important to me than the cosmetics. The cosmetic stuff, you can take care of that stuff over time, get it taken care of, and it's done. It's one of those things that I'd rather you be able to do your cosmetic stuff, in phases versus trying to move in and all of a sudden you got to get a new roof, or all of a sudden you got to get a new HVAC. Those things can be very pricey versus painting. You can change the paint and you can change the carpet, but you can't casually change that foundation. So be very careful of what you're doing. Number three, if I was buying a house, I would emotionally detach from the deal going into it. Absolutely, I would emotionally detach. I would not go into it thinking, oh, this house is amazing. Even if I felt that way, I would not fall in love with the house until after the inspection has been completed. Don't waive things that you don't know about, right? Don't say, oh, I'll waive the inspection or I'll waive the appraisal. Absolutely not. We're not doing either one of those things. You want to know what's going on with your house. I have a client who he's an investor, and most of the time investors, they'll take the house as is, no big deal. But I always suggest to my investors, get an inspection done, because at the very least, know what you're getting yourself into before you buy the house. And in this particular case, we were able to get a price reduction on the house because we found out that the house has some leaks. The house has some floor joists that are loose. And on top of that, the house had some termite damage. So, hi, Mo. The house had some termite damage. So, we were able to get that information prior to closing. So, now he can prepare after closing to get those things taken care of prior to his, a new tenant moving in. Making sure, of course, when you're buying a house, that the inspection is just confirming your decision and not challenging it. You want to be in a situation where you're saying, okay, this is the house of my dreams, and the inspection came out with just a few things on it, no big deal. That's the house for you then, right? So if I was selling, one thing I would do is I would price strategically, and not sentimentally, right? I understand this is your house and you love it, and you might have raised a family there, and or whatever the case may be, but we want to price according to the market, right? The market is what determines the value, not your memories. I know that might be a little harsh, but because no one's going to pay you an extra $20,000 because, little Jimmy took his first steps over here in this corner in the living room. Buyers don't care. They don't care about that kind of things because they're looking to create their own memories. But buyers in this market right now are much smarter. They're a lot savvier, and they're making sure that they're getting every bang for their buck, right? The momentum of the market matters in the first 2 weeks. 100%, no question about it. If you have showings and no offers, likely it's condition or price. And if you have no showings and no offers, it's price. Because people are not even coming to see it, that's going to be price. They're turned away from it. They're turned off from it automatically. It's absolute price, no question about it. You got to do a price reduction, get into a new buyer pool, and basically start over. Pricing slightly under the market versus letting your house sit and get stale. Because of COVID, a lot of times buyers, if they see a house has been on the market longer than 30 days, they're like, oh, what's wrong with this house? There has to be something wrong with it because no one has purchased it. So making sure that you're making adjustments sooner rather than later is going to instill that you don't get stale. You want to make sure that you're always, top of mind with these houses. Making small adjustments on your listings always moves you up on the different consumer websites. And lastly, number 5, what I would do is I would prepare before you list, not while you're listed. Go ahead, get your pre-inspection done in the house, or this is your house. You know what's wrong with your house before anybody else does. Go ahead and take care of those repairs that you know are happening in your house right now prior to hitting the market. If you know your upstairs bathroom toilet leaks, go ahead and get that leak fixed before you get on the market. If you know that you had an issue with your HVAC, go ahead and get it serviced and get it fixed before you hit the market. Because no matter what you try to do, it's going to come up in the inspection report. And that could that could cause buyer hesitation when it comes to getting your deal done. So go ahead and get that stuff taken care of prior to hitting the market. You don't want buyers agents and buyers coming in the house pointing out things that you already know is wrong. Go ahead and if you can fix it, go ahead and fix it prior to. If not, your price needs to reflect your repairs that you're not willing to do. So if your neighborhood says that you can list at $300,000 and you know you have repairs that you need to take care of, you need to be priced somewhere around $275 because you're not willing to take care of those repairs. And if you're not going to take care of those repairs, then you're giving them the as is price. Just saying. One of my pet peeves, and y'all know I've said it a million times, please use professional photographers. Do not use your cell phone pictures. It's not a good look. Don't do it. Please, 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 please don't do it. And declutter. If you're still living in the house that you're trying to sell, go ahead and declutter. And go ahead and make it a neutral presentation. I have clients who have put studios in their homes, and when it comes time to sell the house, they need to turn that room back into whatever it was prior to. Most people are not going to go in to, cut a record, so they don't need a studio. So go ahead and change that room back to whatever it was prior to, because again, that's going to turn people off because they're going to look at the price tag on them having to change it back. So go ahead and change it back to whatever it was prior and keep it moving. But yeah, those are the 5 things that I would do if I was buying in this market or if I was selling in this market. especially if it was my own personal home that I was buying or selling. That's exactly what I would do. So preparation is absolutely leverage. Make sure you have a clear budget. Make sure you know what you want your payment to be. Focus on the payment and not the price of the house. Um, have clear expectations and have a great vision of what your home to that what you want your home to look like, because that'll help you with your negotiations. And have a clear tolerance for cosmetic changes and repairs, because on either side, if it's something that you can change with a paint party with your friends that weekend, that's not something that you should throw a whole house away for, right? But at the same time, as a seller, that is something you should take care of prior to getting on the market. And also have a clear timeline. As a buyer or a seller, that's one of the things I ask both of the clients is what wait, please don't. It's an immediate turn off seeing cell phone photo. Yes. Thank you, Mo. It is. It is a clear turn off to see that, because we can tell what it is. I've seen houses listed for sale where they had, or it was clearly someone took a picture of the computer picture or a Google Earth picture. That's not cool. These buyers and these sellers are paying us good money to do this service for them. Show your worth. That's not showing your worth. So the other thing is, like I said, have a clear timeline, making sure that you're able to identify, hey, this is when I need to have, my home purchased by. This is when I need to have my home sold by, so that everything else drives that motivation. Making sure that you have a clear timeline will help you when you're pricing your home, as well as when you're negotiating, right? So those are the 5 things that I would do if I was buying or selling in this market. And I hope you enjoyed them. I will have, hi, is that Lenny? Who is that? Hi, how are you? Mo, no, you didn't see houses listed for 630, and they use cell phone pictures. Oh, sorry. That's not flattering, but I get it. I actually I don't get it, but I've seen it, so it's unfortunate. But yes. So join me every Wednesday at noon for a little lunch and a little real estate. I'll be here next Wednesday to discuss another amazing topic regarding to purchasing real estate or selling real estate as well. I am Jonna Redmond of the Redmond Realty Group. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact me. And which one of these tips resonated most with you? Which one did you think that maybe you could do, maybe you wouldn't do, or maybe which one were you shocked that I said? So thanks again for joining me today, and y'all have an amazing day. Happy Wednesday.